Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It's another Friday night, and y'all know what that means. That means incredible music. I am here with a guest host tonight, at least for a minute. Mr. Russell Batiste has joined me, and we're gonna put him to work if he's gonna sit here. Yes, we are. I'm Leslie Cooper. I'm happy to be here. I am, don't worry, Soul Stew is lurking about. We do still have Soul Stew here. He is lurking. And it is so good to have you all here. So what you got to say, Russell?
Welcome, Fridays from Funky Uncle Show, featuring David Batiste and the Gladiators.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's why we've got him here. So he sat in Stew's chair, so we had to put him to work. So. Y'all know the routine. If you've been here before, you know what I need you to do. I need you to text FUNK to 36413. That's right, text FUNK 36413 and click on that donate button. If you head over into our website at thefunkyuncle.live, you can find many different ways to help. One of those is to bid on the Frenchie painting. Frenchie is here each and every week, and he paints an incredible live event painting of each one of these, and you can bid on that live auction right now, even as we speak. It's not a problem. You can also buy prints of his as well. I'm going to tell you all about that, all these different ways that you can do that. Frenchie, how you doing tonight? Feeling good, feeling wonderful. I like that. All right. So we're going to check Frenchie out throughout the rest of the night. I'm going to tell you how you can donate. The easiest way is to text FUNK, again, 36413. That is way too easy. Another way is to be a sponsor. We do want to thank our sponsors tonight. Our sponsor tonight, Faubourg Private Wealth. They take such good care of us here at the Funky Uncle, and I know they're going to take good care of you. So check it out. We got lots of music. Before you start moving your coffee tables, though, what are you going to do? Text FUNK to 36413. Right, Stuart?
Amen to that, Leslie. Once again, big shout out to my old buddy Russell Batiste for that great cameo right there. You know it's always a family affair when the Batistes are in the house. Tonight is no different. Now, in a city known for some of the most incredibly gifted, soulful, musical families in the world, the Batistes are at the top of that mountain. And then David Batiste right here is one of the elder patriarchs of this New Orleans musical community. Though you wouldn't know it by looking at him because he just gets younger and younger every time I see him. Always looking clean. Always got some great, funky, soulful chops for you. It's going to be no different tonight. So please give it up for David Batiste and the Gladiators. And this is Soul Stew reminding you to wash your hands, stomp your feet.
dealing with something called COVID-19 that we got to come back for even a stronger push to bring New Orleans back. So we appreciate all of your support. And as the senior patriarch of David Batiste and the Gladiators and so many other great musicians, I want to thank the Funky Uncle for having me and my band here. Special guest Mr. Frank Ball on guitar. We have Mr. Marcel on guitar. Marcel is our lead guitar player. We have Mr. Marius on bass. On piano and on everything, we have my son Ryan. We have my son Jamal on drums. And we were introduced by my oldest son Russell. Russell and I both had a chance to play with the Meters in our lifetime. So it's a great honor once again for me to be here to do our music loosely and funky in the way we feel it. Appreciate it. Bring it on up, fellas. Let's go. Oh, by the way, I'm David Batiste. It now. Blood rushing through your veins. The story, excuse me. David Batiste and Gladiators started a long time ago, 1962. I want to give a personal shout out to persons that inspired me right quick. From my mother and father, the great Alan Toussaint, Samuel Burfict, Richard Knox, my brother Michael, my brother Paul, my brother Peter. So there's a lot of people I personally, when you come up before the screen, people just get into themselves a lot and forget to thank people that helped them. So personally, some of the guys along the way I like to personally shout out and thank. Here's a little something called Funky Hips. We put this together in the 60s, and we thought we were ahead of our time in funk, so this is Funky Hips. See, that's a mixture of the Cajun Zydeco up-tempo, the rhythm and blues, the second line, and all those wonderful feelings that we have here in New Orleans and Louisiana, and this, in fact, for this region. So we like to do, in our show, we do our originals, as we just did a couple of great originals, and we do songs by other great artists. Right now, we'd like to feature from Homer, Louisiana, my good friend, Mr. Frank Ball, on this next selection.
One, two, three. Used to spend my nights in a bar room. Liquor was the only love I'd known. But you rescued me from reaching for the bottom and brought me back from being too far gone. You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy. Honey, I stay stoned on your love all the time. I look for love in all the same old places. Found the bottom of a bottle's always dry. But when you poured out your love, I didn't waste it. 'Cause there's nothing like your love to get me high. You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy. Honey, I stay stoned on your love all the time. You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. Tennessee whiskey. Tennessee whiskey. You're as smooth Tennessee whiskey, Tennessee whiskey, Tennessee whiskey.
All right. How about that beautiful version of the old classic Tennessee whiskey? I've heard many a country singer from Nashville do that tune, but there's nothing like having a little Louisiana grease on it to make it even better. Sounding great. Y'all, please, out there in the digital world, show your love and appreciation any way you can for David Batiste and the Gladiators. If you think you know New Orleans funk and you don't know David Batiste and the Gladiators, then it's time to go home, do yourself a little homework, do a little research, and brush up on the incredible history that this man has in the Crescent City that's influenced so many of great musicians. Now, before the Neville brothers put their own band together, before the Meters blew up, there was David Batiste and the Gladiators, and Russell told me earlier that the Meters actually used to rehearse in David's living room when Russell was a little child crawling around on the floor and fall asleep by Zigaboo's drum kit. And of course, many years later, both of them were playing with the Meters in different incarnations. So it's great to see it all come full circle, and we're so honored to have David Batiste Sr. and the Gladiators with us on this lovely evening. How are you feeling, Leslie?
Oh, it's warm up in here, and
It
the
is.
music only makes it hotter.
That's for sure.
Oh, wow. You know, I did get to see David and the family, the fathers and sons, back around carnival time. And it just warms my heart that so much of the family is together, and you got enough of them to start a football team, I think. But you know, it's good that you got your rhythm section for sure. And
Yes.
so happy to have you here, and we're happy to have you, our viewers, here and enjoying this amazing show. In 60 weeks, 62 weeks now, we have been able to do some pretty incredible things for the musicians and the gig workers. So we need you to help by donating. You text FUNK to 36413. It's just that easy. Or go on our website, thefunkyuncle.live, click on donate, bid on this Frenchie painting. Frenchie, I mentioned earlier, he paints a new one each week. And when I look at them, I feel like I hear the music when I look at that. I remember that show that I was at, and they are amazing. So don't forget to bid on that. You might be the lucky winner. If you don't think you can handle something like that, I need you to go over to the Funky Shop. That's right, our website, thefunkyuncle.live. Go to the Funky Shop, because on the Funky Shop, we've got all kind of merchandise. Hats and shirts and socks and sweatshirts. I mean, we've got whatever you need. It's all right there. You can also buy a print of each and every one of Frenchie's paintings that we have done. This goes to support our musicians and our gig workers. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again because they're very important. For every band that's out of work, there's a sound engineer, a lighting tech, a stagehand, a drum tech, and somebody, you know, the bartenders, the doormen, all of them, were out of work. And a lot of them are still out of work because things are coming back, but they're not back yet. And guys, we got a lot of catching up to do. So please don't forget about us when you do go out to the clubs and you do get to hear the music. Don't forget about us, because we're still here doing really good things. I want to thank our sponsors, Faubourg Private Wealth. They have helped us. They are going to help the Funky Uncle. I'm going to find out how many weeks they've been doing this, because over 20 weeks they have been helping us, just like we're asking you to help us. So text FUNK to 36413. Then you can look up David Batiste in the Glass. Well, no, just finish dancing around your living room. We're going to do an interview at the end of the night. You'll find out a lot then.
Just like Leslie said, we're doing it all for a good cause, y'all. Now that, you know, Things are starting to open back up. It's wonderful, and we love to see everyone out there dancing, but we still got a long ways to go. We still got people that we're trying to help. But I will say it's been so great when I've been out there seeing live music recently. People have come up there and be like, hey, you're Soul Stew from the Funky Uncle. I've been watching you for the past 62 weeks, or something like that. Keep it up. And people just thanking us for, helping them get through this this whole lockdown. So we're just so glad that we could take this New Orleans music and share it to the world, and we just are so grateful for everyone who's helped us bring this fantastic music to you out there in the digital world. Speaking of this great music, we're going to let David Batiste and the Gladiators get right back to it. So, y'all know what to do. Don't forget to wash your hands and stomp your feet.
Hold it on that one, y'all. Bring that down. So, with the passing of our great musician and heart of our soul, one of the many heartbeats of our soul, Mr. Art Neville, I made a set change. So I would like to dedicate this to Art. I sat in with the meters. I was on Saturday Night Live with George and the guys, George, Zig, and Leo. So I was just sitting in Art for that time, and all the time I loved his music from the first time I heard it. So it was an honor to be anywhere near what Art Neville had put together. And believe me, I know he put it together. So set change, we want to funk it up a little bit for Art. Right here. Right now, we'd like to bring up a beautiful voice. David Batiste and the Gladiators, we always had great female vocalists, from Miss Sheila Allen in the early beginning, Miss Linda Coleman, so many other wonderful voices we've had to sing with our band. Matilda Jones out of great city of Kenner. Let's give a shout out to my good friend Ben Zahn, the mayor of Kenner. Well, we did a lot of music in some of the good teen towns, Kenner teen towns, coming up as David and the Gladiators. Really supported my band. I want to shout out to all my good friends out there. But we always had a beautiful voice singing with us. So we have a beautiful voice for you tonight. Boy, you're going to love this. Yeah. Let's give Miss Rachel a nice round of applause, y'all.
Thank you.
Glad we're taping it. So, yeah. Y'all started and then pick up. See, we taping like this. Family, we can do this. All right. All right, Mark. 1, 2, and. One more time. Here we go.
With all my heart, I love you, baby. Stay with me, and you will see my arms will hold you, baby. Never leave, 'cause I believe I'm in love. Sweet love, hear me calling out your name, and I feel no shame. I'm in love. Sweet love, don't you ever go away. It'll always be this way. Your heart is calling me closer to you. I will be all that you need. Just trust in what we're feeling and never leave. 'Cause baby, I believe I'm in love. Hey. Sweet love, hear me calling out your name, and I feel no shame. I'm in love. Sweet love, don't you ever go away. oh no, oh no. Oh no. Oh, do you love anybody? Oh no. So sweet, so sweet, so sweet. Your love. Oh no, 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 no. Don't nobody know. Just love me sweetly, baby. Just love me sweetly, baby. Hey. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mr. Batiste. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Don't nobody know. Thank you. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you, Mr. Batiste. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Rachel. Ah, thank you. Give me some funky soul. Right there. Bring it up. That's the funk. Feel that funk. We want that funk in your living room. We want that funky soul in your living room. We want that funky soul in your living room. We want that funky soul in your living room. Here's how we do it. 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 Feel that funky music. Feel that funky music. Feel that funky music. Feel that funky music. Funky. It's funky. Funky 21. 22. The year 21. The year 22. Ain't it funky? Ain't it funky? Ain't it funky? Ain't it funky? Give me some, Marcel. Ain't it funky? Ain't it funky? Give me funky. Give me funky. Give me the drums. Y'all play with me. Give me the drum. Just small. it, Russ. I want my oldest son to play right now. Spontaneous. Go play, Russ.
Yeah, you right. Give it up for David Batiste and the Gladiators here at the Funky Uncle Lounge. My name is Soul Stew, and what a wonderful example of what it's like when you get the Batiste together. It's a family affair. You never know what's going to happen. They're all so talented on so many different instruments and so many different compositions, and it's just such a treat to get to see them together, throwing down the funk here at the Funky Uncle Lounge, especially doing that old classic Funky Soul. That was a hit for the Gladiators, one of their first hits, I believe, if I'm correct, right? Right, Mr. Batiste, wasn't Funky Soul? That was one of the first hits y'all had, right?
Yeah, it's one of the first big hits. We had the first song we did was called Cutout. And 6 Ward High Step. This was pre-Funky Soul. This was maybe 1964.
Wow.
63. Yeah, they was bringing us out of the house. We would back up people such as Ernie Cato, Johnny Adams, Chris Kenner, Oliver Morgan, Jesse Hill, the great Irma Thomas at one point. We had that strong rhythm section. Then we went on to back up ZZ Hill and beat David Ruffin's band rhythm section when he left the Temptations.
Wow.
Yeah, I first met David in 1965 when my band won first place at the Apollo Theater.
Nice.
In 1965, David Batiste and the Gladiators, William McGee, Paul Batiste, and Stanley Ratcliffe. David Batiste and the Gladiators at that time. Wow. And we went through so many great different horn sections. But the nucleus of the rhythm section, the Gladiators used to be my brothers and my friends. Now they're my children, my sons and my daughters.
Love it.
And everybody have their own band. Jamal, you know, he had his own band. Russell have his own band.
Sure.
Ryan has his own. Ryan Shagadelic have his own band. Everybody up here are leaders. Frank Ball have his own band. Marius, Marcel. So we're like the Gladiators in that movie. A whole bunch of leaders come together for one cause, and this is the breakout of music.
I love it. I love it.
Break out of COVID-19.
Right.
You know, everybody, we've been vaccinated. Everybody's good. You know, we push that for the older musicians. I want everybody at this moment to start celebrating my 74th birthday that's coming up.
Nice.
In September. I'll be 60 years of playing music.
Wow.
I'm one of the oldest Batiste. We'll get to this later on, you know.
Right.
There's so much that we have done, but I it began with my father, my John J. Jeffrey Batiste Sr., all the way up to all of the big things that you're seeing. There's so many of us doing things, but it started with my father, and my father is the catalyst of all of us.
Well, I say y'all honor your father, and you all honor each other every time you take the stage, no matter what band it is. It's always a pleasure to hear y'all do your thing. And gotta give a shout out to Jamal. This is his, fourth time here at the Funky Uncle? Fifth time. Well, it means so much to have you back, and of course the rest of you as well. And like we said, it's a family affair here at the Funky Uncle, especially when you get the Batiste in the building. Sounding fantastic, and of course we're doing this all for a great cause, to help out our local musicians so they can keep on bringing you this fantastic music. It's been a long, hard road for everyone, but you know, we're getting towards that light at the end of the tunnel, but we still got to keep pushing to get everyone back on their feet where we need to be, because we know nothing makes us feel better in New Orleans and to get together and dance. So we're looking forward to having y'all here with us one of these days to boogie down together. But until that time comes, keep helping us out. Join the Funky Uncle family, become a funky cousin, or maybe get one of these beautiful Frenchie paintings that's coming together so nicely over there. I've been watching his canvas. It's always a fun time to see Frenchie come out here with just a blank canvas, and then by the time he goes home, it's a beautiful original piece of artwork. So we hope that y'all get to enjoy that little journey as well. See, it's on the screen right now. You get to see what he's working on. It's going to be a good one, isn't it, Leslie?
This is one of my favorite parts of any Frenchie painting, when he is still just drawing everybody in, because he'll get to the point where he wants, starts adding color, or maybe not. You never know. Some of the most beautiful ones have been, at this stage. But I mean, look at that. You've got the ancestors looking over you, definitely. And you can have this painting. You can go to our website, but there's a lot that you can do. You know what? You've done a lot already, because we have raised $381,244.03. We have helped 519 musicians and gig workers over the last 62 weeks. And I can't tell you how much that means to me as a music lover, a parent of musicians. And David, I know you can sympathize with me there on that, to watch your kids that are musicians struggling as well. But it means so much, and we're a big family here, and we want you to be a part of our family. If you text FUNK to 36413 and click on the recurring membership, a recurring donation, where you don't even have to worry about it next week or next month. Just, $10 a month, $20 a month, whatever. If you do that monthly recurring membership, you become a funky cousin. That's right. Because everybody's got that funky uncle that comes and sits at Thanksgiving dinner and makes it a lot more interesting. Well, that makes you all funky cousins. And we want you to be a part of our family. So please text FUNK to 36413. Click on that donate button. Help us out, like our sponsors, Faubourg Private Wealth. I'm going to spit it out in a minute. They have helped us over 20 weeks. They help us make this happen. This is a fundraiser, but we do pay our musicians. We pay our crew. And what an incredible crew we've got. And I am so ready to be able for one of them to say, I can't be there, I got a gig. All right? But until that happens, we're going to support. You're going to support. Text FUNK 36413. And we've got more music. We absolutely do.
Absolutely. Let's get these legendary players back to doing what they do best. Hope y'all are having fun out there in the digital world. And I know they've got some great more tunes coming for us. So in the meantime, y'all don't forget to wash your hands, stomp your feet.
Give me a blues and C.
I got a secret, y'all, and my neighbor better not find out. Said I got a secret, y'all, and my neighbor better not find out. See, I've been helping out with some of his chores. And with that, I know he will be sore. That's not what y'all thinking. Play the blues, myself. know, when we would be back in the O.V. Wright, O.V. Wright was so soulful. He would talk about a nickel and a nail. And when we would back up Ann Peebles, the girl wanted to break up somebody's home. Now we're gonna fool around and back up James Carr. He's talking about meeting somebody at the dark end of the street. Everybody loves a Percy Sledge when a man loves his woman. Yeah. It's easy Hill from Dallas, Texas, said he's going with those down home blues. Ooh. But the blues make you feel so good. Make you want to scream. Bring it on up, y'all. My neighbor did not find out about the chores I'm trying to do. But it's not what you're thinking about. I want to say it's true. It's not my neighbor's wife. I've been helping her fix the roof. Make it funky, y'all. My neighbor better not find out. Let's go home. So funk and food, funk and the music, and funk and food do go good here in New Orleans. You know,
It makes you feel good, get you racing. So we're gonna do something, another one of the songs that I learned at the $7 bar that I used to sneak down me and Ratcliffe and listen to. They call it swing blues shuffle sort of stuff. But we got the mix to that and we put our taste to it. All right, shuffle in G, start on the 5. Ryan, we almost switch up Hargrove with it. Yeah, I love to see my sons when they switch up. Now, Russ, you can come play some keyboards on this one, baby. Shuffle in G. Let's get it. No more. We'll go out, hang out at the club. Crazy little mama come knock, knock, knocking on my door. Say crazy little mama come knock, knock, knocking on my door. Say now crazy little mama, don't you come knocking at 2 or 4.
Let's hear from Mr. Frank Ball on guitar, if you don't mind, y'all. Frank Ball. And also, Mr. Marcel's on guitar, to my extreme right. Two of the best. On bass, Mr. Morris. I got so many of them, I call Marius Mr. Morris. Marius. Strong musical family. Now I'm honored these guys are here with me. On keyboards and drums, on drums and keyboards, let's hear it from Mr. Ryan Batiste. He's the baby of the family. Ryan's the baby. Graduate of Noka School of Music, Louis Armstrong Jazz Camp. Shout out to Miss Jackie Harris, Kyle over at Noka. That's your product. From UNO University by Destrehan High School, Jamal Batiste on drums. Go to work, Jamal. Make Jamal go to work. I learned all my sons wipeouts when they was like 10 months old. All of them, Russell, all of them are wipeouts. Let's solo them all, go for it. Jamal have a new project out called The Change Is Coming. Y'all will go to the Jamal website. A Change Is Coming, Jamal Batiste on the Jamal website. Ryan Shagadelic. Y'all done seen him play already. If y'all missed it, you're going to get Leslie and the guys to bring us back. Y'all miss Russell, Ryan, Jamal. Where Damon at? Where you at, Damon? Come on up here. Damon's been here. He walked in here. He didn't come in with the djembe drums. He was supposed to play. He played the kit. Come on in there, Damon. Yeah. Damon and I have been all over the world. Africa, Paris, France, Mexico. In fact, when Ryan was 9, Damon brought him to Mexico.
Give it up for one more time for my dad, David Batiste, Sr. Senor. I'm proud to say that my father is the reason that we have been music advocates. We basically have taken New Orleans under our wing post-Katrina and brought music into the schools. Give it up for the school system. We do that. Give it up for music on Frenchman Street. Give it up to music at the Funky Uncle, y'all. The Funky Uncle has been probably one of the #1 institutions for live music during COVID-19. Give it up to Chris and the gang. Chris and the gang, this is #1. And please, make sure that you support the musical families, the families of the Neville family, the Marcelluses, the Andrews, and the Batiste family, and the black musicians in the church. Let's give it up for the church, y'all. People like Brother P.J. Martin. Yeah, bringing R&B music back. So, once again, my father, David R. Batiste. And because all of us have so much music, I told my dad he's 72, I think 72 is, it's gonna be 73 in September. He celebrates his birthday, what, 73? Dad, it's gonna be in September, right? Oh man. Well, they say that he looks like our brother. You know, that he looks younger than us. And I'm like 25, so
Y'all keep
we've been playing a lot. But actually, when I take my father to Africa, you know, in Mexico and France, and they really love David Batiste Sr. They really love him. So give it up once again for David Batiste and the Gladiators and all the musicians that he's helped in this wonderful, beautiful institution. And I'm sure you're going to see us again playing music. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah, you're right, y'all. Give it up for David Batiste and the Gladiators, bringing that old school, real New Orleans funk to the Funky Uncle Lounge, y'all. What an honor to have him, the band, the whole family here with us tonight. Warms our heart and makes us realize what New Orleans is all about. You know what I'm saying? Such a pleasure to have him. Of course, closing out with that set with the great Willy T and the Gators classic, Cold Beer. And the drummer on that record was actually one of Russell's first teachers, he just told me. So another piece of history coming full circle for you here at the Funky Uncle Lounge. Russell, what'd you think, man? How'd they do?
It was wonderful.
Amen. Great to have you. It was wonderful. And we were just so honored to have him here. And y'all got to know that. Don't go anywhere yet, because first of all, we're gonna try to squeeze another tune out of him. But then after that, Leslie's going to interview David in his history. 50 years of playing music, over 50 years of playing music in New Orleans. All these great artists that you see decorating the walls of the Funky Uncle Lounge, those were all David's contemporaries. Those are people who he worked with, created music with, and he is a large part of the reason that this music is still here, and his family are the ones keeping it going, and they always will. I know, I'm sure of it, and it's such an honor to have him here. So thank you once again to David Batiste, the Gladiators, all the members of the band, and the whole Batiste family. It's always an honor to work with y'all. Always a pleasure. And thanks everyone out there for tuning in. Leslie, did you have as much fun as I did? It sure seemed like
I
it.
certainly did, and I'm really having fun because I'm looking at the numbers that are rolling in, and I need you to be a part of those numbers of that $381,000 that has been raised, that is also 100% in and 100% out. We have helped 519 musicians and gig workers with that. So I need you to go over there. I need you to text FUNK to 36413, all right? And click on that donate button. Or go to the website, thefunkyuncle.live, go to the Funky Shop, take a look at all of our merch, all of our prints of the Frenchie paintings. Bid on this one. This one is amazing.
Beautiful.
Not only is there such of a legacy here on the stage in the family that's playing here, but all of the ancestors that are looming over them and looking over them and watching out for it, and they are pleased. We just got a text message from Leo Nocentelli, who said he's watching and he is applauding right now. As a matter of fact, Pazuki was telling him to be quiet because she was watching something else. But he's being good. But he did want to make sure that you knew that he's got an eye on it. So could we get one more while they donate just a little bit? You got another short one? One more?
Yeah. Russell, maybe if you ask him nicely.
Russell, will you ask him?
Oh, yeah, well, we're going to close this out with the van from Funky Soul.
He just told him what to do. Dad, play.
Let's do it.
My goodness.
You got it together at the end. I was fumbling.
That was definitely funky. That is what we are doing here on Fridays from the Funky Uncle, is we're bringing the funk to you. We are going to go through this, go right into this interview right now because we've got a lot to learn, so much. We're bringing you some chairs, we're going to bring you some water, we'll get some, all that good stuff in there. But David, I want to start with you, Dad.
Good, come on.
Let's get you up close to that microphone, all right?
Go for it.
Whoa. There we go. So, heartwarming. I grew up with a musician father and raised a musician son, and somewhere in between there I sang too. So having your family around you when you're making music has to be something that is just so special. When you turn around and look, the smile on your face was just incredible. How does that make you feel?
It's real. It's, you know, I don't want to be too spiritual. I drink some water before I pass out, from the spiritual side of stuff, you know, in this music world, after being in this for 59 years, just about 60 years, music and entertainment is always taking because you're always giving. You don't want to be in your room, in your living room playing music. You want to be on the middle of Canal Street, on Bourbon Street, in the quarters, the Jazz Fest. You want to share your music with other people. So I've been able to do that, as I said, starting out with my father and my mother leading the band. And FYI, my father in 1945 or 46 met a senior, as my father said, and she was a beautiful lady, a senior white lady, and she was playing on Oak Street. And he would get off the streetcar and come down from working at Tulane University, and she stayed on Cambron Street. And he would come from work, and he would hear that lady playing the piano. So one day he asked her if she ever decided to sell that piano, would she sell that piano to him?
Okay.
Now, mind you, he just moved in from, he worked in New York where he met my mother, and he's from New Iberia and Lafayette, so he spoke that Cajun French and everything else. He might have swept off her feet with that little Cajun, like Rockin' Dupes is speaking that French. But she sold my father that piano, and the piano was brought from Oak Street to Cambron Street. And that was my first sight of playing on the piano. And I often wondered if that lady had not sold my father that piano, One in 2016, last part of 2016, I was at the White House. I was a special guest of Michelle Obama. I brought 7 kids to perform at the White House with help from my son Damon, Alfred Woodard, and Trombone Shorty, and the Renew organization. And I was sitting in the White House and I was thinking about that thought. What would have happened had that lady not sold my father that piano? Would I actually be sitting in the most powerful place on earth, bringing children with music, with my piano? It was amazing. So that's how it started.
I'm so glad we didn't have to figure out what would have happened. I'm not a fan of what ifs because I usually don't like the answer of them. So
I feel you.
But that just that had to have been an amazing experience for you, and you've had a lot of those over the years. If I had to ask you, what was your proudest moment, other than just sitting here and having your sons around you playing with you, what would you say that was?
I was winning the Apollo Talent Show in 1965.
And who played with you on that show?
Stanley Ratcliffe on drums, one of the funkiest drummers on the planet Earth. My brother Paul Batiste on guitar and bass. He played bass on that particular set. William McGee, one of the McGee family singers out of Kenner, who sound like Sam Cooke. And I played the piano like Jerry Lee Lewis and Little Richard. With that second line backbeat, we took out the winner that had been winning at the Apollo for 4 weeks.
Wow. And what song did you play?
Something called Do You Feel All Right?
Do You Feel All Right? And you certainly did by the end of the night, didn't you?
The Apollo was eating out our hand. They loved it. We brought them straight to New Orleans with that backbeat. And but there's a whole story behind that. It's not that we just went to the Apollo and everything. My father, my older brother, was going into the military. In the middle of March, my father pulled us out in 1965, all 7 of his sons, and Ratcliffe and William and my mama, and we drove from New Orleans to New York. In the middle of the March to Selma was going on. We got chased with the southern people that didn't like blacks, that thought we were going to be with the march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And then when we got past D.C., they thought we were Muslims because Malcolm X had got killed, and we were on our way to New York. But the whole trip was just to bring my older brother John to Otis Air Force Base in Boston, and we were going to camp out in New York. See, my father was a genius. He had all of that planned out. I had no idea. My father used to talk about knowing somebody in the 40s at the Apollo Theater, but I never knew my father and mom used to hang out at the Apollo. And he met somebody in 1965 from in the 40s that got us to audition, because you just couldn't walk in there. You had to audition.
Right.
And we auditioned. We played about 30 seconds of our song, and the guy said, "How soon can y'all go on?"
How old were you then?
17. Just got my driver's license and had to drive from New Orleans to New York.
I was fixing to say, did he make you do all the driving?
Only 3 of us could drive. My mother didn't drive. So all she had was 7 boys. That was it for her. She wasn't driving nothing.
Yeah, she didn't have to.
Yeah, my dad she was a home lady at the first, and my dad took care of his private construction business and general contractor. But my dad was like that. And then later on, I found, coming up, my father used to book the Zydeco bands in New Iberia and Lafayette, and he played the watch tub in the Cajun band. So my father had already visioned that, because we had won all the talent shows. We won all the talent shows right away. We had won East Jefferson High School. We broke barriers in Jefferson Parish for being the first African-American band to be at East Jefferson. It was a Riverdale talent show held at East Jefferson Auditorium, and we won first place with that. We won the Xavier, Dillon, the talent shows here in the city. And my father was keeping that in the back of his head. So when it came time for his son to go join the military, Otis Air Force Base in Boston, he said, "Aha, I'll take everybody out and we'll go to something." When I stop and think about it, he must have thought a hell of a lot of us about how good we sound to actually put us on the Apollo Theater.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, he thought a lot of us.
He was proud of you.
And we didn't let him down.
Just like you're proud of your guys.
We didn't let him down. We didn't let him down. We walked out there with first place. But we couldn't defend our championship because my father just snatched us out of school, and we had to drive back to New Orleans.
Right. You still had to get back and finish.
And on that show, I met the original Temptations, the original Gladys Knight and the Pips, Jerry Butler, Maxine Brown, and we hung backstage. And later on in life, I became David Ruffin's band director when he left the Temps. Right.
Really? That's fantastic. And it's just from that one night, the connections that you made. And those connections are very, very important. And I'm sure that you've shared those with your sons. For instance, if I could say we've only got 5 minutes and you need to tell me what your dad has done for you and your music career, what would that be? What would that consist of?
Yes, that will consist of first having your trust and faith in God. Second, being completely fearless. Third, having the courage to step out there even if you feel like you may be by yourself. And fourth, work ethic. You have to continue to keep putting the work in.
That's very important. How much did he make you practice when you were growing up?
7 days a week.
How long of a time at a session?
It could be from like 2 to maybe 5 hours.
Wow. But it was for a reason, wasn't it, David?
Well, yeah, well, Russell started off the whole young Batiste generation. My firstborn, Russell. Russell bought his set of drums, helped me to get that, helped me buy Ryan's set of drums. Damon helped me get Damon's set of drums. Russell was the catalyst that was the first young Batiste to start all the way up to my nephew at late night. Russell was the first young Batiste to come out of the David Russell Batiste and the Gladiator family. Mm-hmm. The Batiste brothers came out of the David Russell Batiste, David and the Gladiator family. And that was led by my brother Paul. It was, that's a whole nother story in itself. The Batiste brothers set that I was a part of my brother's band, as he was a part of my band, at some points. Beautiful story, beautiful music, but my father and mother had all of that faith in us. And, being on stage with William Bell, as I say, we're traveling with Percy Sledge and being a fan of these guys, playing on stage with Johnny Taylor, playing with little Johnny Taylor. Watch this.
Who's calling you right now?
Hey, Claudette, I'm doing a TV interview right now. Could you call me back?
Aww.
I love you, Mom. I'll call you back, all right?
That was your mom?
No, that's my wife.
That's your wife. Oh, I love you,
I'm answering the phone.
You better answer that phone.
I'm going to answer the phone. Are
Should.
you kidding me? Yes, indeed.
So you've taken your sons all over the world.
And they're taking me all over the world.
And they've taken you all over the world as well.
Right.
And
I'm sorry.
60 years that you have been playing.
Oh,
and I mean, the stories, we don't have time for all of them, but I do want to hear a little bit about the Saturday Night Live and your time with the Meters.
Yeah, that has something to do with, as I said, that other story. At that time, I met Leo and Zig at Mason Strip on South Claiborne. We was out one night and we met each other, and just how musicians do it. And we had always been setting in with each other, each other's band. We were setting in with them at the Ivanhoe, at the Nightcap, or they would set in with us. And we loved the way each other's played, I assume, because I know I loved the way they played and sound, and the coolness about our Zig. And our Zig was, he was the first time I seen Zig would play, man, I was flabbergasted. He was exciting. So anyway, Leo and Zig said, "Hey, bro, we got a gig for you." I said, "Okay," and so we did a gig with mass production of brass construction at one of the universities. Might have been in Hammond somewhere. We did a big college university with a big major concert, and then he said, "Bro, we are going to New York. You want to go with us?" And I said, "Yeah, okay." Still not thinking no more than just setting in. And at first I thought they were joking. Said, "We're going to do Saturday Night Live," when they finally told me that. I said, "What?" "And we're going to learn the song. You got
what
one."
Year was that?
we met, Is
that 76, I believe?
1977.
77. All right.
Yeah, we met, and I had to learn the song. The song was "I Got to Get My Name Up in Lights." They were doing a New Direction album by Warner Brothers, and I didn't know what was happening with the other side. And I said, "Okay," and I just said, "Okay." Next thing you know, after doing that mass production, the big college gig, we flew out that Sunday. It's that Sunday or that Monday, and we landed in New York. It may have been that Monday because we landed, went straight to Rockefeller Plaza, and when you do Saturday Night Live, you're going from 10 in the morning to 10 that night straight,
Right.
until the guys say live from New York. It's Saturday night, and so I'm still not thinking nothing. Okay, here I am in New York, getting ready to go on Saturday Night Live. Probably one of the biggest gigs in my life. You know, it was the #1 show. But I had already been to New York at the Apollo. You know, it won first place at the Apollo Theater, you know, so going to New York was, hey, you know. So, but I didn't know how big Saturday Night Live was, how big of a star John Belushi was. I had a chance to hang out with him for those 5-6 days we were down there. Gilda Radner, Lorraine Newman, Garrett Morris from here. The Blues Brothers Band, Tom Malone and the guys.
Yeah.
And, man, it was just a delightful experience. I had a suite in the Rockefeller Plaza the size of this building, you know. And we would, limousine would take. Look, I took the limousine to the East River Projects by my cousins. I hadn't seen them since we was there in the 60s.
You pulled up in the East River Projects in the limo.
You got gangs out the street and everything. The
tires stayed on it and everything. You got lucky.
Yeah, well,
man.
my cousin wasn't no jive, you know, so it wasn't no I rolled in the projects with the limo and hollered at him and everything else. And we went back. It wasn't a whole lot you could do because we had to rehearse.
Right.
Constant rehearse. So we didn't get into a lot of people. That was the first time I met Charles Nevels, too.
Really?
Charles at
Charles is my heart.
Oh, he was just a gentleman. The first
Gentleman,
time I
that was
met him,
about
right.
exactly.
And I met him in New York, and people was coming by to see Leo and George and Zig that knew them from the Meters, you know. And as I played with them through those 3 years, that's how I met the Stones, Mick Jagger, and Leo called me up and said, "Hey, Dave, we're going to hang out with Mick Jagger for a minute or two," and that was very nice and graceful of him. He called me, and we went to hang out with Jagger and Keith Richards, and I think Ron Woods may have been in the hotel room. I met Jimmy Buffett. I played with Etta James with Leo and them, you know, with so many gigs that we did. So just, I didn't never get into none of their personal business. For me, it was just one of the wonderful experience as a musician, because I love their music so much myself, and I had my own little flavor to it. But I love Art Neville. I love the way he sung. I used to listen to his music, all these things, some of the records he had. So it was an honor for me to, you know, sit in that chair and play with these other great musicians. And we had a great time. We had one heck of a great time. And I had nothing to do with my son Russell coming on when Zig left the group for the 22 years or so that Russell was the drummer with Leo, Art, and George.
Right.
You know, so people say, "Well, yeah, nope, I didn't." You know, that was, I think, through Charmaine introduced Russ.
Okay.
To that situation that came about, and then Russell wound up playing with the guys.
So the list just goes on and on. You've got a volume of people that you have played with over the years.
Absolutely.
And I know you've heard all these stories and how wonderful it is. But I want to ask you a question that is a little bit different. Let's pretend it's harder nowadays that New Orleans has been through Katrina and then the oil spill and I've always said that New Orleans would survive, musicians would come out of this better than anywhere else in the country because we've fought and we've had to scratch our way back up. But let's pretend that there's someone who has never heard of New Orleans music, that has never heard music that came from our home. What would you want them to listen to? How would you describe New Orleans music to that person? And then what would you tell them to go and listen to?
Oh, well, that's a big question. That's a good question. I'm so caught up in so much of all of the music from the Cajun music from Buckwheat Zydeco, this music, to back in the 50s, 60s, Frankie Ford's Sea Cruise. That was a nice rock and roll song. Larry Williams, Slow Down, some of the music that I would listen to. Lee Dorsey, of course, man.
Oh, man.
Come on. And so, Aaron Neville. Then, Art. Some of the other stuff. Fats Domino, and his wonderful group with Dave Bartholomew and that music. Cato. A lot of people don't know. Ernie Cato opened up New Orleans to the rest of the world more than people would know.
Yeah.
And then the great Irma Thomas. I would listen to her songs, and then to be one day on stage with her, I never knew I wanted to let know how big a fan I was, but it was just so grateful. I was honored to be able and to have, and then they were so graceful and give you so much respect. That makes you feel good, man. And good. Johnny Adams gave me one of my first big shots at a live audience at the ILA Auditorium. Pig Meek Markham, the comedian, was there, and Johnny Adams and the big union band was playing. And Johnny Adams said, we're going to give my organ player a solo. And the rest is history. Yeah.
So this has been really tough. COVID has been really tough on a lot of our elder musicians, or more seasoned musicians, I'm going to call you. You look too young. I can't call you an elder. No, you're not elderly, for sure.
I'm proud
but you're
to be
an
old.
elder. Okay. But this has been really tough on them. Is there something that a new skill that you've taught your father that he's leaned upon you and your brothers, is it live streaming or more in the studio, or anything that you use to help him navigate his way through this pandemic and the shutdown that we've all been dealing with?
Yeah, basically, with my father, we're just encouraging him to, he's already been doing it, but to continue to pay attention to the information that's out there, whether if it's through the news or if he's, does his own homework, to understand this pandemic that's taking place, and also to research some more about the whole live streaming. And how it's being done, and the whole technology. And obviously, it's a no-brainer. Like, it continues to advance more and more and more. And I mean, you would think, maybe I guess we're trying to hit into the Jetsons. The cartoon where next thing we're gonna see flying cars and people just appearing, from our smartphones or something like that, though. But
I could deal with that.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to drive across the bridge one night, I'd be happy.
Yeah, we got the FaceTime, whatever, in that, though. But to have a person just appear like on Star Trek as well, like just out of nowhere, in that, though. But if anything, really just continue just to be informed, and for him to educate himself, just on how things are taking place. Like I said, with technology, of course, society. Well, I mean, he's seen and done a lot, so it's really nothing new under the sun for him. And that, though, it's just a newer, a younger generation, and of course, seeing history repeat itself. Unfortunately, on the bad stuff, though, but it's still on the good side of where, like what we're doing now with the music, and using it as therapy to help and heal people. Instead of hurting people, because there's a lot of people that's hurting right now, and even including ourselves, though, of what's been happening, and that, though. So just to encourage him to continue to keep doing that. Like I said, just research. Keep doing the homework, keep creating. He's always creating. He hits me up, or he sends me and my brothers like a text message of him. Hey, Jamal, hey, check this out, what I did on there. And he has some cool, nice grooves and melodies that's taking place. So he's constantly staying proactive, and at the same time being alert and aware of what's happening in our surroundings.
Great. Sounds like you've got a lot of support. I'm going to ask you, look at your mask. There you go, David Batiste and the Gladiators. I got to get me one of those. So one more very, very quick question, and it's if you've done a lot of work with kids, in music. If you had a little classroom of kids right here, and they looked at you and they said, I want to be a professional musician, what's one sentence that you would tell them that would be the most important?
Stay in school.
There you go, folks. There you go. That is so so important. And I want to thank you so much for being here with us, giving us your time. To the Funky Uncle, we like being able to support you by, we give all these musicians a gig, and then there's the relief fund, and it helps our crew is an amazing example of gig workers, and thank you so much for being here and being a part of it. And I want to thank you at home for listening and tuning in and watching and donating. Text FUNK to 36413. We've been saying all along, we're going to bring the music to you until you can come to us. And there's a bunch of you that are still at home, and there's a bunch of musicians and a bunch of gig workers that need the help. Like I said earlier, I'll be tickled to death when one of them tells me I can't do this because I got another gig. I really, really will. But what are your thoughts on that?
We have re-released Funky Soul. You can buy 45. The 45, yeah.
The 45.
45
originally
vinyl.
1970.
Yes.
And how can people reach you and your music and get this 45? I wish I'd worn my adapters now.
Yeah.
Could have played it. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna be putting it out how they actually can get it. One thing, if you just Google Funky Soul, you'll see it a part of the new sets of vinyl records that's out right now, and that's one of the way they can actually get it. Let's get some airplay on it again. Let's bring it back again. Funky Soul was ahead of its time.
I happen to know a few radio show hosts. I think we can make that happen.
I got a copy for you.
All right. I'm loving it. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody at home. Now, if you missed any of this or any of our other shows, you can watch them on our website. They're archived there, thefunkyuncle.live. You can go to YouTube, our Facebook page. There's so many ways. If you can't find it, you reach out to us. We will invite you to it for sure. Don't forget, text FUNK to 36413. And most importantly, wash your hands and stomp your feet.